Happy Thursday. It's getting closer to that weekend. Today I'm going to bring back Chris's conspiracies. It's Conspiracy Theory Thursday. This is concerning crowd control and how our powers here in the West has to be very, very careful as to how we should tend to disasters and disaster relief. This came from after the floodings of Libya and the earthquakes of Morocco. You got these countries having trouble getting humanitarian aid to them for the people that suffered. And looking into it, it turns out that it's because rival powers in those countries are conflicting with each other. Now, it's said that they're actually working together to let humanitarian aid come in. Here's the problem with that. Like many times when sending humanitarian aid or arms and weapons, we have a real huge problem with those countries and these rivalries who are supposed to all these efforts are supposed to unite them. And instead, they just wind up taking off with whatever weapons intending to their people. And that includes going back to war with their rivalries. Okay? Same thing with humanitarian aid. Wherever the humanitarian aid is taken to or airdropped or whatever, people will take that and only tend to healing and rehabilitating and fixing up and operating on and all this good stuff, feeding their people and only their people. Everybody else that is of a rival or just not part of their power, their side, usually gets the short end of the stick. Which is the reason why no matter how much is donated or given or worked out in a deal with the countries, you're still seeing humanitarian aid, please give to charity and all this stuff to this country. We've learned this throughout Africa. We've learned this with China. We've learned this throughout various parts of the Middle East. Okay, even certain parts on our side of the world. The island of Haiti gets an earthquake. You got a bunch of Haitians that could just get some kind of some help from Trinidad Tobago, but Trinidad Tobago closes the borders and only throws in, whatever they have to the other side, and then whoever's on the other side with the muscle gets that humanitarian aid while the rest of Haiti suffers. Okay? So it's done even over here on this side of the world. Now, the sole point of this is not to say that we shouldn't help the people. We should always, we should always provide humanitarian aid. We just got to make sure that it goes straight to the people instead of the powers that be that will confiscate everything and only support their people. And the main reason also for this is because it's a contribution to crowd control. Okay, we saw that through China, where the Three Gorges River Dam broke, flooding the river, the Yangtze River, killing about 200,000 people. Nobody doing a food drive over there or any kind of humanitarian aid, and because the CCP just didn't bother to do it. The Chinese Communist Party didn't bother to do it. And any kind of humanitarian aid that went to those people and their families was confiscated by the CCP and just simply not used. In other words, they were left to die. They were meant to die because that was their goal. That was the CCP goal. Now reverted back to 2008, I think it was, when President Obama armed the Syrian government to fight off ISIS. Gosh, you know what? I think it was 2012 or 2010. Gosh, I can't remember. President Obama was in charge at the time, and he led this arming the Syrian government to fight ISIS. And the only thing that the Syrians did was, again, confiscate all of the weaponry and backed up only their people. They went back to their side of the country and backed up only their people, while ISIS tore up the country. Those that survived were the ones that confiscated the armory that we provided for them, and ultimately just dropping the ball. They had ISIS coming in. They could have annihilated them, but instead they backed out and just took care of their own crew, their own people, their own followers, And this is the kind of thing that we got to be careful now that we've got this problem going on in Libya. We don't want powers to be in that country to use it to use starvation as a weapon, to use the lack of medicinal tools and medicines to be used as a weapon, healing their own people while letting everybody else suffer through disease, possible virus, and what have you. Harmful bacterias. And the main reason for that is because, again, that's a form of crowd control. And we'd be taking part of donating it. They're not going to care if they're doing this, confiscating humanitarian aid and leaving other people to suffer while keeping all of their humanitarian aid for their own people. That's a part of population control. And it's the wrong way to doing it too. We all know this. Now, Morocco, where the earthquake is happening, there's also a possibility of that, but it's more toward building and infrastructures, where a lot of buildings and houses and communities made of shanties, or shanty-styled way of living, where all the houses are just connected and built upon and supporting each other while, standing alone in each individual house. You got a lot of connected neighborhoods that have sort of fallen through the cracks or just plain cracked, and a lot of infrastructure rebuilding is needed. Here's the thing: when you've got a place like Morocco, and don't get me wrong, Casablanca all the way, this stuff. The difference is that you've got a lot of races and nationalities there, and if you got somebody that's only catering to one race or one nationality, again, that's a form of population control, and it's the wrong way to do it. It's going to be a safe, sound infrastructure built for their own people, as opposed to all of the people throughout the entire country of Morocco. Oh, excuse me. We just got to be careful of what we're doing. That's all that I'm saying. But yeah, and it's also very inhumane of me to say I understand that. How dare you say that because we have power that we're going to use it just to protect our people and let others die. These are fellow Moroccans, or these are fellow Libyans and all this stuff. They're all our people. We wouldn't do that and all this other stuff. you know, technically, I probably shouldn't be saying it. However, given the history of the abuses of humanitarian aid, you really can't judge me. It's not like I don't have a solid leg to stand on, you know, because it's not like this doesn't happen. It does happen. So, yeah, that's the spiel right there. Population control, how far down it's going to be used, and at what point do we stop? All I'm saying is that we just got to be careful. Okay? We just got to be careful that we're not empowering the already powered. You know? And that's it. That's it. I hope everybody's doing well. We're almost to the weekend. Everybody, y'all take care. Just something to ponder, something to remember. Y'all take care. Y'all have a good one. We'll see you next time. This is Chris with Chris Comments, signing out.